is one of the directors of Truckers Against Trafficking, and she spoke to me about the culture within TAT, the acronym for Truckers Against Trafficking, and it was very interesting to learn about the culture in their organization. One of the most surprising things I learned was that the entire office is remote. So there are only 7 employees, 4 full-time, and 3 of those employees are family members. So this organization was definitely a grassroots family organization. They had a separate nonprofit organization, and Truckers Against Trafficking was an initiative of that nonprofit, and they kind of realized how much could be done with TAT, so they created their own nonprofit. But because of that, they have been able to keep the organization remote. So some employees work in Denver, others in Oklahoma, and then others from other places around the world. And I asked Kyla how that affected the culture, and she said it definitely requires a large amount of trust, that the employees are doing their work and that they're going to be able to communicate with each other in a quick manner and an effective manner. And that was definitely the general feel I got from the communication I had with Truckers Against Trafficking, that they're a very intense, passionate organization who really care about what they're doing, but also look to do it in the best way possible.
Hello, my name is Taylor Clark, and as part of our research project for Truckers Against Trafficking, we researched organizations that are in charge of the trucking industry in Mexico. And I found some friends that are going to talk about each organization that we studied. CANACAR is an organization in Mexico that seeks to represent the interests of the trucking industry, and they do this by representing Mexican truckers in front of legal entities and also private and public and international and national organizations. And there's a lot of benefits to be a member of this organization, CANACAR, and these benefits include magazines with relevant information about the trucking industry in Mexico, and it also includes personal legal advice and tax advice and advice on international trucking. All of these are great entry points for Truckers Against Trafficking in Mexico. The SAT is an organization of the government in Mexico that is in charge of all communications and transportations within the country. This organization has the power to implement real change in Mexico, and they seek to help the trucking and transportation industry become modern and safe and give quality service. The SCT is perfect for implementing Truckers Against Trafficking organization in Mexico.
Nay! CAPUF is another governmental agency. They're in charge of all toll roads and bridges across Mexico. CAPUF can easily spread awareness about human trafficking as trucks pass through toll road checkpoints. Nay!
Alex Thason of Finza Logistica was recently quoted saying that the Mexican trucking industry competes illegally by using stolen diesel, by not paying taxes, and by using illegal trucks. Now, why is this important for Truckers Against Trafficking? This is important because it shows a lack of standards in the trucking industry enforced by the Mexican government. And this is important because Truckers Against Trafficking will have a difficult time encouraging trucking companies to spend resources and time to train their employees, train the truckers on how to stop trafficking, on how to help with the cause, and how to further a better worker environment for truckers. However, I do think that Truckers Against Trafficking can take the moral high ground on this and appeal to them morally, and just by saying trafficking is very wrong. And I think that they will get pretty far in this debate and get trucking companies online with them.
A huge part of Truckers Against Trafficking is knowing how to educate the truckers to be able to recognize signs of human trafficking. This is the main goal of Truckers Against Trafficking. I focus my research on how to get the word out to truck drivers in Mexico through law enforcement on how they can stop human trafficking. To transition the program that Truckers Against Trafficking uses to Mexico, there needs to be an understanding of the interaction between the Mexican law enforcement and the truckers. Truckers have had many inspections and safety checks that are required. Recently, the cross-border trucking deal was signed, allowing access to Mexican truckers into all of the U.S. as opposed to just part of the U.S., which allows for more intense inspections as they cross between Mexico and U.S. There are inspections in both Mexico and the U.S., whether they are entering or exiting. The truckers are also required to have the correct documents when they are crossing the border, such as U.S. certified driver's licenses and a passport. Annual inspections are required for these truckers to ensure that that their trucks are safe. And these are to be done at the certified inspection centers. Another important interaction between truckers and law enforcement is a required 3-month training for each trucker. This allows for the teachers to include Truckers Against Trafficking in their educational curriculum. Finally, along with the inspections, truckers have to pass emission tests as well. Through all of these avenues, Truckers Against Trafficking can help increase their recognition of the issue of human trafficking and how to stop it. The next clip explains a little bit more detail about these different options.